Hello. This is about diet periodization, and I'm really excited to talk about this today because this is really such a key understanding and knowing how to change your set point or work towards your goals. If you want to lose weight, if you want to maybe lose a substantial amount of weight or even a small amount of weight. I think it's just, I'm going to walk you through a case study of mine that I did with a client who, you know, in my opinion, didn't really have much weight to lose, but I totally honor and respect her goals. And she is a power lifter. And so for her, she wanted to come down a weight class so that she could be even more competitive, right? So that way she's at a lower weight, but keeping her strength. So this is a really great example of somebody that, maybe had some aesthetic goals, but also had some really performance-based goals. And I'm here to honor and respect whatever your goals may be. So I'm going to walk you through this here. Check out the reverse diet video because most of the women that I work with actually need a reverse diet. And that is the process of increasing your intake until you reach an amount that is adequate for your body and your movement and your lifestyle. That's different for everyone. But there's more information there, right? So I will talk about reverse dieting a little bit in here. So if you want more information on that, please go to that video. So I am going to share my screen so that you guys can see this transformation with Christina, and I have some notes on her. So as I mentioned, Christina is a power lifter. She's also a mom, pretty much just all around badass. She works really, really hard. Her starting photo, oh no, oh, there we go, good. Okay, so this is where she started on the left here. She started at about 135 pounds and her intake was at, I have my notes here, 125 grams of protein, 235 grams of carbs, and 55 grams of fat. So right at about 2,000 calories was where she's at on the left. And just for reference, she's 5'3". And she had very minimal cardio at this time too. So what Christina and I decided to do was, well, first of all, she came to me, her macros were slightly different. She was almost about the same calorically, but I just switched up the carbs and the protein to something that I thought might support her goals a little bit better. So about the same calories, just changed up the macronutrient ratios. So that's where she was on the left, about 2,000 calories. And we went through a 6-week cut. I decided to do a 6-week cut with her because everyone is different. And this is what's really important about diet periodization is some people can diet for a long time. Some people cannot diet for a long time due to multiple reasons. It could be dieting fatigue, like the idea of being in a deficit for a long time just doesn't sound appealing. It could be that scheduling things, maybe it's maybe you've got like summer break or something like that, and then you feel like that's a time where you have more time to dedicate to your fitness goals. And so, you have more time for cardio or you have more time for whatever it may be. It just seems like a good time. These are all things to evaluate when it comes to achieving your weight loss goals. Is now a good time? So for Christina, we just decided on something short and sweet. She didn't want to diet for a long time, but she wanted some results. So I did an aggressive diet with her. And for many people, it's probably not that aggressive, but I knew that we were going to do it for a shorter amount of time. So I wanted to just get in there and do it rather than taking another approach that I do with many other clients, which is sometimes just taking the cue from the body and not being in a hurry. So just making a change and giving the body more time to yield results from that change. You might not drop weight each and every week, and that is normal. It doesn't mean that changes aren't happening. It just means the scale's not yet reflecting it, or that the photos aren't yet reflecting it. I have seen people working hard for 6 weeks, nothing, and then boom, it's just like a sudden change. So Christina actually started to see changes right away. And so there she is on the left, about 2,000 calories. And at the end of her cut, 6 weeks later, she was at 1,440 calories. So about 560 calories difference per day. That's the aggressive cut. And we moved her over 6 weeks down. I didn't just go from 2,000 calories to 1,440, but I did progressively move her down over the weeks. Also during the weeks, what I did was I increased her cardio. So as intake went down, cardio inverse relationship went up. So that is creating more of a energy deficit, right? And reverse dieting is the opposite. Intake's down, cardio's high, however we want to do this. And as your intake starts to go up, you're also going to bring down your expenditure. So that energy balance starts to come into a positive place, or sometimes even a surplus, right? And if you get too far into a surplus, then you will see a weight gain. But I don't see that a lot on reverse diets, to be honest. So that was the end result. This, I changed the photos again. So this is where she, on the left, very start, on the right, the end of the 6 weeks. That is in an additional 12 weeks later. She was able to maintain weight loss. I think she weighs 126 pounds on the right. So she maintained 9 pounds of weight loss 3 months later. And the best part is, and what we did is we reverse dieted her. So once again, I brought her cardio down and her intake up. Let me see if I put those photos in here. Yes, you could see. She weighed 135 pounds at the start, was eating 1,999 calories. And at the end of our time together, she weighed 126 pounds and was back to eating even more than when she started with me. So 2,165 calories. She went down 9 pounds in 8 weeks in total, because once we started her reverse diet process, she still continued to lose weight. She was still in a deficit. Just because you're reverse dieting doesn't mean that you are just suddenly out of a deficit. She was still in one. And I think the best part of all of this that I already mentioned, well, actually not the best part, I will tell you the best part of it, was that she entered a new weight class of 125 pounds and she squatted 265 pounds. So I will say, in order to keep her strength and energy up, we did actually have a weekly high day in there as well. So like I said, it was really important for her to keep her performance up. Yes, she achieved a new aesthetic. That was one of her goals, right? She wanted a little bit of weight loss, but she really wanted to enter a new weight class and keep her strength. So I absolutely love that. What else can I cover in here with Christina? I wanted to talk about just one thing that was in an email that she wrote me that I want to share, so I'll read that to you. And she said, Lauren, seriously, thank you so much. I've been meaning to email you back since last week. Opening up and reading your email really took some of the weight off my shoulders. Thank you for not picking at my flaws and that it's okay to not be perfect. Thank you for not making me feel bad that I went off my macros and routine because I wanted to enjoy life. Thank you for not mentioning that I gained a pound. And still, even if I did gain a pound, you still reduced cardio and added more food. So I just wanted to say thank you. And thank you for being more than a coach to me. You're like a big sister. They're telling me everything's going to be okay to help me reach my goals and guide me through my problems. I really appreciate you. So that's another thing that I want to touch on, not just like makes me so happy because, you know, she did have a week where she went out and celebrated very early into her reverse, but most of the time Christina was incredibly consistent, and it's about what you do most of the time, not just some of the time, right? So it's about that consistency, and I know I say that time and time again, but that one is really, really powerful. So she did gain a pound at one point after she, you know, had a weekend out or whatever, but you don't need to punish yourself, and she still got incredible results. So as you can see at the end here, right now, there's absolutely no reason for Christina to diet again. She's 5'3", 126 pounds. She has tons of muscle, low body fat. She looks phenomenal. If she wants to diet again, that's up to her. And with her intake being at 2,165 calories, she is set up in a place to do that. If we left her at 1,440 calories, right? Here she is on the right. She's not at a place to diet. That's what I really want you guys to understand that. So once you lose weight, it is important to go through this diet periodization process. So, you know, having your established calories, 1,999 $999. That's where it was for Christina. That's a great starting point. She can obviously eat more food than that and maintain her weight. But in order to get weight loss, yes, we had to create an intentional deficit. Once you're there, you don't stay at that deficit, right? Increase it back up, periodize your dieting so that, you can diet again if you want to. And some of you are coming to me at a place where you're already very low calorie. You're starting at 1,200 calories. That's why you'll need to reverse diet and get up to a place of adequate intake so that then you can start this diet periodization process. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. Right. This is part of the process. Sometimes the way out is the way through. If you're eating 1,200 calories, that's not sustainable. That's not a place where you should be maintaining daily. That is not a place to start a deficit from. And you will need to get your intake up. And you might have to hold for a while there. You think about how long you have been in a deficit. And being in a deficit for a long time can have some really harsh mental effects, right? You could have really created a poor relationship with food. I know for me, just as a personal and anecdotal example, being at a chronic deficit for so long, it was very, very difficult for me to think about dieting again, even at one point. So that's why I haven't been in an intentional deficit for a few years now. That's something that I might pursue at a later date as I also work on my own performance goals. But, there's nothing wrong with just maintaining your weight and working towards healthy habits with food and exercise. There's lots of great changes that happen when you are just eating adequately, consistently, and fueling your body. So please don't underrate that. You might not drop 9 pounds in 8 weeks. Of course not, just eating at your maintenance. But if you put in the work, if you eat at your maintenance or slightly above, you're also going to do some nice body recompositioning in a more favorable way. So having more lean muscle tissue and less body fat. It is a slow process, but it does happen. It just takes time. So please honor yourself and where you are at. Understand if you are in a place to diet mentally or if your intake is a place that supports that. And let me know if you guys have questions about this. This is a really, really vital part to the process. I've also written this out in the diet periodization guide. So, it's kind of like a rinse and repeat, but it's a vital part of the process that a lot of people don't talk about. All right, I'll catch you next time.